watching a movie, you can usually spot the protagonist swiftly. Why? Because they are the ones who propel the action forward, making them central to the story's development. They are the ones executing everything that happens in the movie, but there's also something very important. Generally, the protagonist is the one with the inner journey. They are the ones who experience things and change. So when you start the movie, whether it's a short film or a feature film, by the end, the character has changed. Both in short films and feature films, we can identify protagonists, co-protagonists, or secondary characters. The protagonist is the one who propels the action. Notice when you see a scene with numerous characters, the protagonist stands out. And the script is well executed. You will never lose sight of them, because what matters most to you is what happens to the character in that environment. The co-protagonist is the one who accompanies this protagonist. To have the title of co-protagonist, they must be active. They must truly form a union. Movies work when there's a protagonist and their best friend, but it's important that they appear in many scenes of the movie. Secondary characters are essential for the story but don't need to evolve throughout your script. You don't have to elaborate on them extensively, as their primary role is to support the main narrative. Whether they gained insights or encountered challenges, their role is simply to enable the protagonist to execute their plans and actions effectively. Now, we have to take great care of all the characters. And we will come to understand throughout this entire lesson that the stronger, the more clearly defined the antagonist is in our short film, the stronger the narrative will become as the protagonist faces various challenges and obstacles. We must identify the types of conflict and determine which one will be central to our short film. Conflict arises when two opposing forces collide. The character must find a way to resolve this confrontation, which will drive the narrative and shape the storyline's progression. And there we will get to know them more and more, because we will see their creativity, their skills to face a force. So let's think about 4 types of conflict nature. Of these forces, our short film's protagonist. In my case, a teenager might face society, nature, another character. Let's think about specific movies, a character against society. These films often depict characters who are ahead of their time, striving for rights and justice. Consider the movie Milk, which is super iconic in showcasing such a struggle for societal change. To see Drake, he is the protagonist. Billy Elliot is the main character, a boy striving to break through societal prejudice that restricts him from pursuing ballet, deemed only for women. His journey centers on overcoming these social barriers and proving his passion for dance. That has even infiltrated his family core, in his father. We have another type of conflict, a protagonist against nature. How many films have we watched about hurricanes, tornadoes, or natural disasters? About tsunamis, a plane crashing in the middle of the Andes, and the characters must learn to survive and decide if, to survive, they will eat each other. Their biggest obstacle is nature. They'll resort to cannibalism. Their primary challenge is the formidable force of nature. This natural force is so overwhelming that it presents an incredibly tough conflict to conquer. They are at a disadvantage against that monumental force. Character versus another character. We have a character whose aim is entirely different from mine. This antagonist is so skilled that they devise clever strategies to thwart my objectives and hinder my progress. My goal is what I aim to achieve, the problem I need to solve. This goal holds a clear motivation for me as the protagonist, which fuels my strength to act. Meanwhile, there's another character with a different aim, creating a dynamic conflict, trying to defeat me. Let's suppose a very classic example, the Joker. The Joker is a great character who opposes Batman. He is so good that many times he is more known or more loved than Batman. Due to his distinctive nature, unique costume, and behavior, he attracts significant attention and has rightfully been featured in numerous films in the cinema. The recent Joker film has gained considerable popularity and acclaim. Character versus themselves. The character must overcome something within themselves to achieve their goal. Think about the king's speech. What is the character's conflict? I have a king. Thanks. Here. He is a stutterer. Why is he a stutterer? He has some reasons. Very personal issues that caused him to stutter. If he doesn't conquer these, if his self-esteem doesn't improve, and if he doesn't enhance his confidence, he might struggle. Self-image. He will never be able to overcome his obstacle, which is speaking fluently in front of others. If you notice the nature of conflicts, in discussing the four main elements found in movies, it's clear they significantly influence the direction of my short film, right? What aspects should I highlight in the script to effectively promote it and ensure its success? In my case, given that I'm focusing on the independence of a character and want them to encounter a challenge, it seems most logical for them to confront another character. Ideally, this opposing character should be of a different age to create a more dynamic and engaging conflict. That I have to solve something with the adult world. And this realization of their limits is crucial. Alternatively, I might opt for a character who gains independence by asserting themselves, perhaps through demanding situations. Something at their school. A woman's right that their school lacks. I might choose for it to be a character who asserts their independence. Who at 13 gets lost in the woods and must learn survival skills independently? They can be self-sufficient to survive. And I would also be talking about independence. Or I could say, the character has to overcome something within themselves to be independent. One has to choose according to what interests you most to explore. Working with a character doesn't instantly define the conflict's nature. It's through the process of working that it becomes clear that you have to define what interests you most to explore. It's crucial to clearly define these elements as they provide the essential structure for your short film. Every story we share, whether it's a simple anecdote told to a friend on the subway, inherently possesses a beginning and an end. This structure is fundamental, guiding the narrative and ensuring it resonates with the audience. And that beginning and end will be marked. Sometimes it happens when it's not marked and you're watching a play, that the play ends, the lights go out, and you don't know whether to applaud or not, because you don't know if the play has ended. That's because the narrative structure isn't always clear-cut. In our films, ideally, everything from the start builds up to a definitive conclusion at the end, making the purpose and direction evident throughout. There are two types of beginnings, more conventional or less conventional. Think about the books you read when you were very young, those classic tales that started like this. Once upon a time in a distant castle, there was a princess who lived locked up. Because blah blah blah. Those tales provided all the background. They set the scene, the time, the character, and the events. Then the second paragraph would come in and tell you more, expanding on the story and drawing you deeper into the narrative. Until one day something happened and the action began. When the action started, you had a very clear picture of the whole setting. On the other hand, as we grow up, we start reading different kinds of books, and those books often had unconventional beginnings. For example, they started from a specific action,